what I just want instead is early proactive units, right? So Draven's the biggest fan. I prefer running over Draven, or over more copies of Draven. We do want kind of like lighter units to play. Double drawing Draven is all right, but not amazing. You know, Teemo gives us basically one additional 1-drop, while, you know, helping us potentially like develop for the elusive condition. Teemo's a solid card. The biggest problem with Teemo is like drawing other copies of Teemo sucks because it turns it into this useless card, right? But because we're only running one Teemo, we don't have that downside. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's not a big fucking deal. Like, that's all I'll say about it. I can't definitively 100% prove that it's better than the third Draven, but what I can say is like there's logic for it, and there's also counter arguments, don't get me wrong, but it's also just not a big deal. Like it's just one card in a 40 card deck, which I think a lot of people don't really see. I think a lot of people don't understand card ratioing that well, actually. I see a lot of people that will just kind of like scoff at literally any 3-of they see. A lot of like surprisingly, you know, great players. Yeah, I mean, Trumpers in this matchup is quite nice just because it doesn't fold as hard to the AoE, but I think we just go for this. Maximize damage early, try to find other options. Because Trumpers is only good if we have, like, we keep Zona and Jury Rig. Yeah, we find the other Trumper anyway. So, obviously this is more damage on turn 1 here. It should be. Do you mean non-3-ofs? Yeah, did I say too many people ran 3-ofs? I must have misspoke. Yeah, there's not enough people that run like 1-ofs and 2-ofs. They have a place. You really do need to kind of like know how to ratio a deck, because you don't want to like use them randomly either. It's really important to make sure you're not, you know, trolling and making your deck less consistent than it needs to be. So you can play pretty well against stuff like Make It Rain here by playing the second Battlecaster before the Teemo. This is a pretty easy deck to like pilot for the most part. It's not hard, but you will occasionally have to do some weird decisions. You know what? I'd call it medium. I don't think it's super easy. I'd call it medium. You will have to do some weird stuff sometimes. And also, like, I mean, even beyond that, it's... The mulligan is super important to get right with this deck. If you don't mulligan properly, you're actually hurting your odds of winning with a deck like this by so much. Because it's kind of like an aggro combo deck, right? And when you think about that, that intuitively makes sense. Because, like, if you don't think about mulligans in exactly the right way, you know, you need to draw your synergy cards early. So here he's going to have Make It Rain. That's pretty much going to fuck me here. As mentioned, TF Swain is a hard counter against my deck. Oh, cool. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, and I mean, dragging the keg isn't worth it either because we end up with a bunch of 1-health units anyway. So yeah, I mean, just kind of like take a look at this game, for example. Like, I'm glad I had that Teemo there instead of a Draven, right? And it's just ratioing. It's just probability. It's like, it's all about just finding the perfect ratio. And I want like one extra 1-drop. And, you know, Draven's really nice, but drawing Draven and Draven's biggest fan is usually kind of redundant, or drawing Draven on turn 1 in lieu of like something that could be used more aggressively doesn't feel great. Here, we have a pretty awkward hand. I mean, like, he was still able to blow us out, even if it wasn't like a super effective way to do it, and now our hand is kind of choked out, right? So we're probably basically just kind of losing. Now we have to kind of like think about how to play to our outs the best. We're going to play Experimenter pretty much on turn 6. I think we can, at this point in time, try to squeeze maximum value out of Crowd Favorite. Oh, I messed up, actually. I was supposed to play Flame Chompers and then keep the Jury Rig in hand, actually, I think. I guess we have a discard target in Crowd Favorite, just because, like, Crowd Favorite is literally useless anyway. But yeah, it was actually slightly better to keep the Chompers there. Play the Chompers there just so we could have the option for Crowd Favorite. Keep the Jury Rig in hand so that, you know, we could play for the Crowd Favorite to be a 4-3. Obviously, that's very weak, awkward stats, but sometimes that's the best you get, and you have to make do. Okay. It's an aggro combo deck, but the combo is quite basic. I think you'd be surprised, Power Cuties. I mean, like I said, it's not like the most big brain deck ever. You don't need a fucking Einstein IQ to play this deck, but I do think you might be surprised at how tricky this can be sometimes. Like, there isn't just one combo. There's actually a lot of different things you have to play for. Sometimes you play for Jinx more aggressively than others. Sometimes you need to know, like there are some matchups where you actually do go into a bit more of the value game plan rather than just like the full-on aggro. Like I said, it's not the hardest deck, but I wouldn't call it like an easy deck. I'd call it medium, or I guess maybe medium easy. Like here, you know, the decision on playing the crowd favorite versus the augmented isn't actually even that easy of a decision. Probably just taking the maximum damage here. Like, the crowd favorite isn't great here. It's basically a 5-4. We're maximizing resources, but losing out on tempo a little bit. We don't have anything that's, like, insanely integral to use right now. But also, like, most draws off of Augmented are going to be bricked next turn anyway. We can't afford to draw something that would be bricked. I think it's probably the Augmented here. Honestly, though, just having a 5-4 is not bad. 4 health units kind of hard for them to deal with effectively. He's already played one sentry as well. He played this sentry not too loosely, actually, because he didn't want my Draven attacking there. If he's out of sentries, then the crowd favorite is pretty solid here. Next turn, we can develop the Experimenter in. I think at the end of the day, I should Experimenter now and just discard the crowd favorite. But it's not as easy as you'd think. And here we have to kill the Spider, just because I actually don't want to give him another TF in hands. I'm less afraid of the TF level up, and I don't want to let him play another card on me. Because if the TF's on the board, then he has pick a card and not TF. I don't want to give him a TF. Interesting. Okay, he's got his leveled Swain here. Looking pretty bad. We kind of needed that Augmented to pull something good, like a Jinx or potentially like chaining out of value, like a good second crowd favorite hand that we could play in time for this next attack. Second Augmented is pretty funny. I mean, I can make one of the cards Draven. Have we actually played both of our Dravens at this point? That's actually another benefit of doing it like this, because we actually don't want too many Dravens. I mean, we do have a full board, decent amount of damage here, and we have not let him play anything off the TF, right? Which actually doesn't matter here. Make It Rain is going to luck out and hit both of our 1 health units. Feels bad.
I'm basically 1/8 gay.
At this point, yeah, I mean, I'll kill the TF. It still just kind of has to be our value play. We can't do a weird House Spider here. We do have a good grab. We're turning on the second TF in his hand, but you'll notice right now my board is, you know, less losing to red card anyway. So this is fine. If we draw a Get Excited off of this, we could play it this turn. We have 3 left in deck, I think. Wow. Uses Scorched Earth like that. He's got to have a very awkward hand to do that, I think. Like, is that actually worth it in any hand, actually? Wait, really? That's a weird one. But yeah, I mean, he's usually looking pretty scary here. His Swain will probably end up punching my face one way or another. That's good for me. Swain not having the ability to punch my face is what I want here. Looks like we're just mulliganing away the axe off of our Draven, which is pretty free. Usually this is the turn where he plays Leviathan. I don't know if that really changes our play. What we could do is try to develop our units into him next turn so none of our units get stunned. Just like go wide on a development. I mean, if he doesn't play Leviathan now, I'm not really scared. So it's kind of interesting. Like, basically by not playing now, I'm kind of trusting that my mana won't blank out. We only get punished by developing here if he plays the Leviathan, and then we're potentially only losing like 1 attacker. I don't know. It's a little awkward both ways. Because, like, you always assume he's going to play the Leviathan here. So any unit you play effectively costs 0 mana, will just get stunned. So pretty much ends up not doing anything at all. We kind of just have to pass to dodge the stuns here. There's 1 Teemo Shroom. Okay, so we've got a pretty alright hand here. You know, we want to be thinking what he could have in his hand now. He could have second TF. He could have Rex. We can't beat a Rex here. There's literally no way to beat it, so no playing around that. Well, unless his Rex gets... Yeah, there's no way to beat Rex. The first step is, I think, just playing the Draven out, and then we can, like, discard the axe to see what we draw off of the Draven. I don't think there's any, like, big brain sequencing here, really. We, I think, don't want the Flying Poros to get stunned out by any sort of, like, Swain effects. If he has something like a TF red card or a Make It Rain, playing my House Spider before the Zonite could matter. But I think those are getting a little too stunned anyway, so I'll play the Zonite first. I think, in all likelihood, we're probably discarding the House Spider. So now we've got an interesting play here, which is if we play the Jinx and discard the House Spider and then play one Poro, and then we discard the other Poro, then our Jinx has the ability to level up here. And there's no downside into playing for this, so we can just kind of like open with this. Well, the downside is we play for less elusive value, right? But we can start this by doing this. And now in the next action, we have Jinx into Poro Cannon Daring Poro, which will level the Jinx, potentially. And that Jinx is pretty scary for him. And unfortunately, the elusive win condition just, I think, isn't quite trustworthy enough. So I do think we kind of might have to play for the Jinx here. I don't know, like, how often is he just winning off of his open attack anyway? That's actually so interesting. Do I just have to play for the full Poro and hope that it's enough? I mean, full Poro can't be enough. I would have had to have used the axe on one of the Poros. Like, full Poro literally can't be lethal here. We have 4 Poros and he's got 2 blockers. So yeah, I guess we're forced into this Jinx. Feels kind of bad. Yeah, TF is pretty expected. He's got red card. That's going to go ahead and stun one of my attackers. So he should win this game. I feel pretty happy about that. We had, obviously, very unfavored matchup. And we were able to get pretty close here, all things considered. Yeah, he has, like, the easiest open attack of his life. This is what TF Swain does at his deck. It smashes discard aggro. Absolutely dumpsters it. I'm pretty happy with that, though. All it just comes down to is, like, making sure you're making the most efficient plays possible. Long-term, bad RNG, bad matchups. As long as you're not using those as an excuse, and instead just not minding them when you're playing well, you're gonna do very well. I really want to hear your opinion on Howling Abyss. Okay, what? Just like on how it is as a card? Well, it's trash. It's like a meme card, right? What do you mean? Howling Abyss has always been a meme card. I don't know. There's been this like weird cult. I've met a few people that are Howling Abyss believers. It's like real bad. Misfortune Lucian. It's interesting. It's another like board-centric aggro deck. So we've got, you know, here's our Draven's biggest fan coming in hot. We actually have a pretty great hand here. The one thing is, like, in a hand like this, we really want Swarm over Battlecaster. We're attacking on odds, which gives us like a great Draven's biggest fan into, you know, the vision thing later. But Battlecaster can't quite be good enough without a little bit of, you know, Swarm Source. We drew 2 kind of awkward cards here. You know, we still have one chance to get like a House Spider or a Zonite or a Poro Cannon. Like, look at the mulligans that way. We have so many outs, right? We have so many things that make us unawkward all of a sudden. I don't see any way that this exchange goes better for us, unfortunately. There's some hands that actually can't block this here. Like, without a crowd favorite in hands, I don't think we can get enough value out of waiting on that exchange. And the thing is, like, vision is important, but it doesn't make that exchange any better. This is the awkwardness with, like, drawing Draven earlier, and it's kind of regrettable with that hand. We might have had to play Fan on turn 2. Because we still have some outs to salvage the hand if we play Fan on turn 2. It's awkward, but we could draw Zonite and Poro Cannon. Yeah, so we can't have played biggest Fan on turn 1 there. That was a misplay. I wasn't thinking ahead to turn 2. Because we have no play here. Sometimes, like, Draven can be a force to be reckoned with. Yeah, check this out. Well, okay, so House Spider doesn't work because it would have been spell mana. But if we had drawn Zonite, if we had drawn Rummage, if we had drawn Poro Cannon, any of those 9 cards, then what we would have done is like allowed ourselves to draw the Draven on turn 3 and actually like had an option on turn 2, right? That's the power of Fan. Like, drawing Draven early is actively bad. That's why Fan is good, because you don't have to, you can draw a Fan instead of Draven and then get the Draven when you need the Draven. Like, look at how big of a difference it makes here, not what in terms of probability, not in terms of what we drew. How much of a difference it makes if we had just played the Fan on turn 2 instead. We open ourselves up to much more outs. Stony Suppressor is hilarious. It doesn't actually impact my deck very much. I guess I do use Spinning Axes. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about spinning axes. Yeah, okay. That's fine, though, because we had a clunky hand. We were kind of forced to go into spell mana anyway. So, oddly enough, the spell mana kind of wasn't doing anything else. I'm pretty fine with this. That's good. And see, look, this is another case where, you know, Teemo's great. We needed a little bit of extra swarm, right? And we got it. So now what we can do is, yeah, we can go ahead and just kind of like go a little bit wide. Our units don't really have value as blockers. We're not really going to do a weird... You know what? I could actually do a weird block here. I could do, like, spinning axe and block the MF with my 2/2 if he attacks on this action. If he plays a 1-drop and then attacks, which most hands wouldn't do, then I could do Teemo into vision and then block with this the same way.
I'm actually here.
The one cool thing... Oh, and yeah, there's the 1-drop. He actually drew it a little bit... Yeah, he's able to curve it out here. So, what we can do is... We can play the Teemo here, and I don't mind doing like a slightly early vision. We actually could do like chompers and vision off of our double spinning axe. That looks pretty sweet. And you know what? I don't even really mind this going like that. We could have also done a get excited, kill the MF. I can't like that as much. I don't know. Maybe that is right. I don't know. It just feels it's not actually generating much of an impact. Pretty happy with how this worked out. So our chompers is going to be pretty beefy. The first one, if we axe, we can have this chompers just casually get like 3 attack here. Yeah, I guess using get excited on MF was better there. It only gets countered by like a ranger's resolve, which actually he can't even play because of Stony. Yeah, I should have get excited that MF instead of playing the Teemo. That would have been good. That's fine though. Because it just, you know, allows our Draven to block this 2/2, which matters a lot. Because this 2/2 getting in a minor attack is actually slightly awkward here. Not the biggest fan of the fact that this 2/2 got to attack this turn. That's fine, though. This is so interesting. I think is this my first time ever seeing Stony Suppressor in an actual game? I think I might have seen it once really quickly before they lost. But yeah, it's such an interesting card. Demacia feels a little too fair right now overall, I guess I would say. Like, it is hurting my mana points here. I am actually gonna have to spend some mana. Which I think I'm okay with, just because of the nature of my hands. Let's do this in that order. If we draw a unit, we might be priced into playing it. So we can almost flip the Jinx. We can flip the Jinx here. That's sweet. Wait, we can't. Wait, what am I talking about? We can almost flip the Jinx here. I mean, it's a burst pass. I think I do want to develop in here. Second Suppressor. It's adorable. It is adorable. What if it's a third Suppressor? That would be quite the trick. Jinx is fine to play out here. It's just kind of like a quick attacker in this case. So we did give him 2 actions instead of 1 there, which ended up being awkward. So that burst pass, it should have just been like, play Jinx. Like, giving him 2 actions as blockers before this attack was very needless. For sure. So we can kill one of the Stony Suppressors with Flame Chompers. Really not sure if it's worth it. I mean, my hands is expensive, but I don't really mind it being expensive. The nice thing is my Chomper gets to live if I go for a Suppressor. That is nice. And it looks like my 3/1 Spider isn't going to get to attack here, which is fine. Yeah, I mean, Chomper surviving is probably worth enough. I think I'm okay just killing off a Suppressor. This feels good. Yeah, I mean, here's Teemo just putting in work. Like, my 3... it's a Swarm deck, but the most awkward states are just when you don't have the ability to get an attack. I feel pretty happy about having Teemo here. Like, I've made this very awkward for him. He can't have any spells of his own. I do think Stony Suppressor is... It's definitely a tech card. It's not a bad card for sure. It's a really polarizing card. I think it's... It doesn't really have the ability to do... So when Stony Suppressor came out, a lot of people looked at it and said it's like a nuts crazy card, or, you know, some path in there, right? Some approximation of crazy. I can flip my Jinx here, and all it will cost me is discarding both Get Exciteds. Pass. So yeah, I mean we can take a couple Get Exciteds here. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't kill the Lucian. We do want to keep our Jinx alive through the Challenger Genevieve. That might be very difficult to do. We could, I think we're abandoning the Jinx altogether and trying to kill him next turn. Crowd Favorite will come out as a 7/6. Genevieve plus the MF can kill Crowd Favorite, and he can even do that off of the second Genevieve attack, which is really nasty. Really, really nasty. So Crowd Favorite's kind of bad here. And the fact that Genevieve buffed Misfortune outside of Get Excited range is nasty too. Wow. Teemo might not be able to win us the game. He can kill Jinx with a few things. And MF isn't leveling here. We might need to try to kill him next turn. Okay. Sure, he's just getting his free attack in. The only issue is, like, yeah, his stat lines work very, very well into mine, but he does have too many threats. He kind of, I think he needed to drag my Teemo with his first Genevieve attack, because my Teemo might be winning me the game now, right? Like, the fact that he didn't respect my Teemo here might end up losing him the game. It's a pretty big deal. Lucian is actually leveling up here, which is, I guess, potentially kind of scary. I'm fine, though. I mean, he can't deal 1 damage, right? Am I missing some way he could deal 1 damage? Because the Spider even has, like, a potential weird attack. At 1 mana, deal 1 damage in Demacia Bilge. Yeah, I'm just blocking with Draven. I can't see it. How does he punish this here? Make it rain? I think if he's got Make It Rain, we're losing anyway, right? Now that he's got Protege, though, I guess the Spider has a basically impossible time doing anything anyway. Yeah, sure. So I guess I'll block Lucian. It doesn't really matter. Why not? But yeah, like this felt good. We have like a nice, like, flexible, you know, elusive semi-win condition. And we're still at the mercy of his last card in his hand, but the way his deck is built, it's really hard for that to actually be a spell that can do anything about it, right? It's like he's running all the Stony Suppressors. He's probably just like a full unit deck. It's probably like second Lucian into Relentless Pursuit is a pretty likely thing for it to be. Our Teemo should often just be winning here. If I develop into him, is there a punishment? How could he punish me for developing into him? I don't know. It's a good question. But yeah, that feels good. Like, Teemo is able to put in work here, right? And obviously this, like, looks kind of cherry picked. And yeah, don't get me wrong. It's like, sure, it's kind of cherry picked. But it's like, this is the kind of game that will happen every once in a while. Like, you just get so much extra value. Being able to just be a little bit more flexible. When you look at how all these games are playing out, just having, like, a better ratio of 1-drops is important. Like, at the end of the day, here's the biggest thing. Here's the biggest thing. If you're running 3-ofs everything, the thing is, and I've explained it like this before, but you have to think about cards when you're deck building. You think about them in terms of not the card itself, but the role that the card is a subcategory of, right? Like, this isn't a 1 of Teemo. What this is it's a, let's say, a 7th 1-drop. If we call Draven's biggest fan and Zona Urchin 1-drops, Teemo's my 7th 1-drop. And this is a deck that just wants, you want to be able to have granularity, you know, to modulate your curve the way you want to, right? So the thing is, like, when you run nothing but 3-ofs, you're abusing power cards, and don't get me wrong, 3-ofs are good, and like, this deck runs a shit ton of 3-ofs. But just in terms of how we have to think about it, if you're running nothing but 3-ofs, you're restricted to having 6, 9, or 12 1-drops, right? And there's a lot of reasons that we would want 7 or 8 or 10, right? Like, that's all. That's it. So, like, a lot of people look at this Teemo and they're like, oh, that's weird. In reality, it's just the 7th 1-drop. And Teemo's a solid 1-drop. It's like, some people run an academic, by the way, too, which I'm fine with. But it's not a 1 of Teemo. It's just the 7th 1-drop. That's all. And that when you look at 1-ofs and 2-ofs closely, that's kind of all they ever are. Because all cards... It's not like this is the easiest example, but when you look deeper, all cards are really just like representations of their subcategories, right? Like when you look at, let's say, Draven, you know, Draven he's 2 things. He's a swarm rewarder, because usually what you're discarding with Axe is vision for, you know, that's the nut draw. And Draven is also a potential like discard fodder value tool, right? Like, it's not just Draven, it's what Draven is. And there's other cards that do Draven's job. We have a lot of ways of discarding vision nowadays, especially now with like Poro Cannon, that like just, and you know, obviously we have 5 Dravens because we have 5 opportunities to draw Draven. But as I'm playing this deck, I just don't need that 6th Draven, because it's not even just the 6th Draven. It's like if we're counting Poro Cannon and 2 Rummages, and you know, all the ways we have of triggering the cards that we might need to trigger, like Vision or even Flame Chompers, we certainly have enough of those, right? So just think about it like that. And if you're thinking like a 1-of isn't a 1-of, like, don't think about it like a 1-of. Just think about the category and not the individual card, you know? That matters more than anything else.